What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel where I teach you everything you need to know about accounting, audit, personal finance, the CPA lifestyle, and everything in between. If that sounds awesome to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button below, and welcome to the accounting channel. Wow, I can't believe that. I did that first try. So the reason I say that is because I don't know, a few weeks ago, I ended up making like a separate channel for kind of more unscripted, unfiltered videos like this. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know, when I was doing cardio this morning, or I was like working out and stuff, like lifting my weights and all that stuff, trying to get swole and fill in these shirts. I'm doing a pretty good job now. Anyways, when I was doing that, I just thought to myself, I'm like, how can I continue to grow my accounting channel by, adding the videos that are obviously edited by my editor Xander, which he's freaking super awesome, and he does a great job of cutting out all the dumb parts where I say dumb stuff. But then I'm just like, I want to build a community. I want to build something where not only am I teaching you guys accounting, audit, personal finance stuff, which I have so many videos already lined up that he's already working on that like go over financial statements and trial balances and how to audit stuff, which we should be coming out with one. Today is June 21st. It should be out tomorrow. I hope June 22nd, but yeah, we'll see how far along he gets in editing it. I'm hope he's done, but just to kind of let you guys know, I'm going to be doing every single video on this channel now, whether it's super edited and touched up by my editor, or I'm just kind of giving you guys my thoughts on certain current events, certain ideas that come to mind, and certain things that I feel like if I had a younger version of myself, I wish someone would have told me. And today, especially because on the other channel, I might upload it here, I don't really know, but I essentially talked about the coming recession, and whether you believe it's coming or not, I went into a whole other topic on how just the sheer fact that we're even discussing a recession, that in itself induces a recession. And let me explain real quick why. So, in this other video, I talked about how you need to be saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses, pay off your credit card debt. What else did I say? 3 to 6 months of living expenses, pay off your credit card debt. Shoot, what else did I say? I don't even know what else I said. Pay off your credit card debt. Update your resume. Oh man, I'll be honest with you guys. Sorry, I don't even know. I don't even know what I said. But so essentially, the two things were 3 to 6 months of living expenses and pay off your credit card debt. Just those two things alone. If every single person did that. The third thing was make a budget, like detail out a budget. And not only necessarily a budget, look at your actual expenses each month, whether you have it on mint.com, which I hope if you're watching this channel, please, I'm going to plug them till the day I die. They are so great. I use it every month. Mint is probably the best software I personally use. They're awesome. But let's just say you don't even use the software yet. I would just download your Bank of America or whatever bank you use. Download your last month's statement on whether your credit card, your debit card, whatever. Download it and see where your money's going. What's fixed expenses, what's variable, what can you start cutting out? And I would start looking at, okay, how much am I spending on rent? What am I spending on car insurance? Your rent and discretionary expenses that kind of fluctuate up and down, drinks, food, when you go out to eat and stuff like that. Stuff that you can cut out, start cutting it out because you need to save as much money as you can right now. Because I personally believe, and I could be wrong, leave me a comment below what you guys I'd be super interested to know what you guys think. But I do personally believe that we are headed into a recession if we're not already in it. I do feel like there's going to be a slight downturn. Again, just because we're already talking about it, and whether you're on the side that we're not going to have it or we are going to have it, the sheer fact that it's being brought up changes consumer behavior. It changes everyone's sentiment about how everyone's kind of pessimistic about the market and everyone thinks we're going to go through a downturn. So just those three things alone, 3 to 6 months of living expenses of cash on hand. I keep forgetting. 3 to 6 months of living expenses, pay off all your credit card debt, and then cutting out any unnecessary expenses. Those three things alone, if every single person did that, we'd definitely have a market downturn because everyone would start pretty much trying to save as much cash as possible. But through that video, I started thinking about when I was in my 20s, I made three really kind of dumb financial decisions that thankfully I was always kind of frugal, and I've always been really grateful for that I've always been really, really, really frugal. Maybe it's because I grew up kind of poor. Well, like, blue collar. Not, I wasn't poor, but my family just kind of worked hard and they did what they could. So money was never really a thing for me per se. Like, I never really had an abundance of a lot. So money was always kind of tight. And maybe it's because I grew up like that I am the way I am with money, but. There's three things that in my 20s, I am 30 years old now, and there's three things I spent in my 20s that I'm like, looking back now, I wish like I can talk to 19-year-old Bryan and tell him like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And slap him across the face. Like, hopefully maybe some of you, or you guys around that age, or even somewhere in your 20s, if you can avoid the three things that I'm telling you that I'm going to go into this video, I guarantee you guys, you're going to be in such a better position than I am at 30. And thankfully I am in a really good position now, but there's certain things that set me back even maybe a year or two that I could have done maybe a little quicker, or not gone through some of the heartache that I did. And I'm going to tell you exactly what those three things are. So the first thing I think that gets everyone, and this isn't even just, sorry. Again, these videos are not edited. So yeah, there's a car that just went by. But anyways, so there's three main things that really kill people. And that the first thing is car payment. Oh my gosh. I don't understand. And honestly, even till this day, so I thankfully my parents got me, I drove a little Cobalt in high school and pretty much all throughout college. Thankfully my parents I was blessed enough where they gave me kind of, like just a kind of a little car to get around, go to school, whatever. So thankfully I didn't have to pay for that. And I'm forever grateful to my parents for doing that for me. So that was kind of like my college car. And right after I graduated college, I was a freaking idiot and I didn't change. Okay, so this is what happens when you start in public accounting. I worked like my freaking ass off. I don't like to cuss, but yeah, I worked my freaking butt off like for a year, that first year in public accounting and this is not an excuse, but maybe I'm trying to justify it in my head while I'm telling you guys. But I totally, I didn't change the oil, and I was on my way to an inventory count, and I went to go count inventory in Camarillo, California, which was like maybe 2 hours from where I was from at the time. And on the way there, my car literally broke, like boom, like it popped. No, it literally popped, and the engine was essentially done. So I had to get a new car. I didn't really have a choice, but me not really being financially savvy yet or really understanding finances. And mind you, at the time I was making $57,000, which, I wasn't poor, especially I lived at home, but I wasn't balling out of control, right? Or I wasn't making the money that I make now. So I ended up getting a Honda Accord hybrid, which, I was driving a lot of the time, but I spent $36,000 on that car. $36,000. Honestly, what the hell was I thinking getting a car that was literally more than half of my annual income? That is insane. That to me drives me nuts. And I think back to when I haven't had a car payment in, oh my gosh, it's probably been 5 years now, 5-6 years since I've had a car payment. So I don't even know what that's like anymore. But I remember having a car payment. I thankfully I had saved up cash, which even now looking back at it, it's such a stupid thing to do that I paid cash for it. I could have leveraged the debt over the time. I'll get into another video, but I paid a lot up front. I paid a huge down payment, like I think half the value of the car I paid down. So I only had to finance like a year or two of it. But still, I ended up paying that. But I had essentially put all the cash that I had into this car, and that really set me back because after my first year in public accounting, because in public accounting, you just work so much that you really have time to really do anything, especially when you're in your younger years where you're really trying to learn and develop yourself. I spent so much time working and, I lived at home, so I didn't really have a lot of expenses that I ended up saving close to like maybe $25,000 to $30,000 that first year in public accounting, which was, oh my God, even now I think $25,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, but a lot of that went to my car, and it ended up taking me almost 4 years to essentially save up for the first multifamily unit property that I bought. But like thinking back now, that was literally a down payment on a property. And I could have got this property in 2014 when like prices were a lot cheaper than what I got my first property at. So honestly, I probably could have got my duplex at the time if I would have not had to waste or put that money, huge amount of money into a car. I probably would have got it 2 years before and paid probably $150,000, $200,000 less on my first rental property. And that just blows my mind. And I can't believe I spent that on a freaking car. So do yourself a favor. Most car payments, especially nowadays, it's crazy. In 2022, I'm hearing the average car payments now close to like 650. That is, oh my God, that's crazy. Because when you think about it, right, most people have a car payment for the entirety of their life. If you threw in $500 every single month into a Roth IRA and maxed it out, which would be 500, you essentially put 500 each month. 500 times 12 would be the 6,000 that you need to max it out. You would pretty much be, and you put it in an index fund, whichever, call it ETF, VTI, VU, one of those two. You would pretty much be guaranteed to be a millionaire over the 40 years, like guaranteed. If you just set it and forget it, if instead of paying for a car every 2 weeks, every month, you put that into a Roth IRA over the course of your lifetime instead of having a car payment, you're pretty much almost, obviously there's no guarantee in life, but you're almost guaranteed to be like a millionaire by the time you retire. But instead, people pay that on a car. I just feel like car payments are I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on a lot of things, but I would say on the fact that car payments ruin people's financial lives is so true. So especially in your 20s, I'm telling you guys, especially, I look at my YouTube analytics, and most of the people that watch this channel are dudes. But if the ladies, also this also relates to you guys as well. Please do not spend money on a car in your 20s. It's just so, oh my gosh, it's so dumb. When you are racking in the dough and and you're later in your career and you're making a bunch of money and you're doing great, maybe then I'll give you a pass and say, okay, well, it's like, I don't know, a few percentage of your income. Makes sense, fine. You can get that $30,000 car. It only makes up like 3% of your income. Okay, maybe I can buy off on that. But in your 20s, please do not put yourself in debt to get a car. It is ridiculous. I understand, especially now that the times that we're in 2020 to mid 2022, inflation's crazy. Cars are super expensive. But that being said, look for a deal and try to put as least amount of car payment or debt on you as you can, because I am telling you guys, even if you take that $500 car payment over the course of even 10 years from the time you're 20 to 30, trust me when I tell you guys, you're going to be 30 years old and you're going to come back and thank me for this video, because that is going to, you won't see it then, but just investing $6,000 every single year for 10 years let's just say you got a 10% rate of return. Man, you'd be so far ahead if you just avoid a car payment. So please, I cannot beg you enough. Car payments are financial suicide. They really are. And I hate to be that graphic about it, but or that parabolic about it, but I'm telling you guys, car payments ruin people's financial lives. And I've seen it from people that are now my age and have had, the newest car every 4 years, every 3 years. And they are so far behind me just because of the sheer fact that instead of putting that into a car payment every year, I was able to, after 2 years, and I had 4 years to save, I had no car payment, I was able to buy a property. I've been maxing out my Roth IRA for the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. So that in itself has put me so much far ahead of other people just because I avoided. After I paid down my car, I told myself I would never make a purchase like that again. So please avoid car payments to the best you can. Okay, second thing that I didn't figure out, I spent so much money on this so when I moved out of my parent, when I got my first property, I got my duplex, I house hack. So I live in one unit and I rent out the other unit, and essentially any single room that I'm not in, whether it's the whole other unit or my own unit, my little brother lives with me actually, so he rents a room for me, and I rent the whole other unit. So my mortgage is extremely low, especially considering I live in LA, I don't pay anything. So when I moved from my parents' house, obviously, my parents have been in the same house for since 82, probably like 38 years. So, my dad's made some renovations. So obviously it's a little bigger, but mind you, my parents bought the house I grew up in for like $30,000, literally in 83. So that being said, I had a pretty nice sized room when I moved out of my parents', and I think I was like 27 when I moved out of my parents' house. I lived with my parents until then, and I recommend, if you can and you're willing and able, and you have great parents, I'll let you live at home as long as you can to save up money. Totally, especially nowadays, I think it's totally fine if you are working towards something and you have a goal in mind. You're just not smooching off your parents. Totally fine. Who cares? Trust me. No one that I talk to now that I'm 30 years old and have my own property and everything, no one asks me, oh, hey, dude, you lived with your parents that long? Trust me, no one cares. So, okay, so I digress. So when I left my parents' house, I moved into this property in LA, right? And obviously my property in LA is a lot smaller than what I had back at my parents' house in Ontario, California. So when I moved out, I was like, I literally had like 15 dress shoes, like 10 different sneakers, like 10 different jeans, like I don't even know how many shirts. And I was literally like, dude, how's this gonna fit in my new place? Like my new place is like 800 square feet, like the whole thing, like my unit. Like where am I gonna put this all? Like it's not gonna fit. So I'm like, maybe I'll keep it in, maybe I'll buy storage unit. I'm like, no, what am I staying storage unit? And thankfully by 27, I had gotten a little bit more financially savvy, and I understood that, why do I have all this stuff for? I have 15 pairs of shoes, and I use the same 2 every day. I literally have 10 shirts, but I use my favorite 3 all the time. I literally have 15 jeans, but I literally go out in the same 2 all the time. And I want you to really do an audit of yourself and realize that even though you have this huge thing of clothes, I promise you guys, you probably end up wearing the same outfit more often than not. And now that I realize that, and then I was kind of, I guess, forced to adopt a more minimalist lifestyle, because obviously the house my unit that I live in now is a lot smaller than my parents' house, but I am so much more happy having less stuff, that everything I own now, I freaking love. I'll show you guys. This water bottle, I use this water bottle every single day. I have my Barbell Brigade sticker here. I use this water bottle every single day, and I absolutely freaking love it. I don't mind spending it. I don't have any other water bottles. I have this. That's it. Just one thing. Even my own house, thankfully, I'm able to just have the least amount of stuff possible, because everything I own, I absolutely love it, and I appreciate it, because I have so little that it kind of forces me to be a lot more mindful about the purchases I make. And it's funny how I feel like now, even at 30, I spend so much less on clothes and kind of discretionary stuff, because I think to myself, okay, every time I buy a pair of clothes or a new pair of shoes or something has to be replaced. Like let's say I have 6 pairs of shoes or 5 pairs of shoes now. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes, it's because I'm going to throw away one of them and I'm going to replace it, or I don't need it because I don't need that many shoes, or I don't need that many shirts or whatever. Like even my work shirts, I think I probably have like, I don't know, 6, 7. And again, I'm not a minimalist. Like I have like one of everything. Okay, I'm not extreme. Like I take a minimalist approach. Like I have enough where I'm happy, but I don't have more than I need, to the point where it's just laying there and it's just a waste of money. So try to avoid those expenses, and even do an audit of yourself and your closet and the things you own, and ask yourself, everything you own, does this bring me joy? Does this bring me happiness? Do I like it? When's the last time I've worn it? If you're not wearing it, it doesn't make you happy, it's probably just wearing you down and it's weight on you. So I promise you, just throw it away. If you really need it again, just replace it. Buy it. I'm telling you, the peace of mind you're going to have with just having an empty place where everything you have, you actually use, own, and love, you're going to be so much more happier. All right, the third thing that I'm going to mention, and this is going to go to my guys that are watching this. So, in my 20s, I'm not proud of this at all. It was such a, and before I say this, I don't want to say like, I don't want it to come off like the females in my the women in my life were wrong, or they were bad people, or no. I don't. This is nothing like that. I spent a lot of time, I don't want to say chasing girls, but dating like multiple girls, and I was always going on dates, and a part of me is thankful for it, because I was able to experience that, I guess, and I don't need to essentially have that in the back of my head, like, oh man, like girls like that. And I get it. Guys will be guys, and I know we have testosterone running through us, and I understand how that feels. I'm still a 30-year-old dude. Like, I get it, but believe me when I tell you guys, I feel like a lot of men are not successful because they cannot control their lust. And that's such a thing that I don't think it's talked about enough, is that, I know we live in a culture now where it's like, oh yeah, the red pill mentality of like, oh, you got to have a rotation and you got to have a bunch of girls. And honestly, I can tell you that is probably the most time consuming and money consuming thing you can do. Seriously, I can't tell you guys how many times, that even if I get it, even if you're taking the red pill approach and you're going to, split it halfways or only take her to coffee or whatever, not only is it a dollar amount you're wasting your time. Because honestly, unless she's going to be your wife or you're going to have, or you guys are going to support each other in some way, I don't really feel, especially you younger men on this channel, don't spend so much time on girls. And this is not a shame on girls or anything. I think women are great and they have their place in a man's life. But especially when you're young and you're really trying to get to that next level, dating multiple girls or just dating for the fun of it or just dating to whatever, do what you need to do for yourself. Believe me when I tell you, if you spend your 20s doing that, you're going to look back and really regret not only wasting her time, but wasting your time. Because you could have spent that time building yourself, going to the gym, building a side hustles, honing down on your accounting skills, doing stuff for yourself, researching, reading, spending time with your family, doing other things other than just kind of chasing this instant gratification that you get with, women at times. And I believe me when I tell you, I still struggle through this. When I see a pretty girl at the gym or whatever, I'm just like, oh man, maybe I should talk to her. But then I'm like, okay, unless I really kind of want to pursue something or, I really want to go somewhere with this young lady, like, why am I going to do this? Why? It's like, I'm going to have to set up a date. You're going to have to spend money. And there's a lot of things that go into this. And sometimes it's just a means to an end where at the end of the day, what you want, and we all know what that is sometimes, if that's all it is and you're really not thinking like, hey, maybe I really just want to date her and get to know her. If it's just lust, please stay away from that, because you're going to waste your time, energy, and your life chasing that. Because I am telling you, just like that, sex and money, you can never have enough of either of them. Trust me. You can literally, that is the two things that lust, sex, and money and all this stuff, if it's just a means to an end for you, it'll never be enough. So if you can do your best to, if you're dating someone, great, and you guys are helping each other out, fine, do your thing, but limit your relationships and your dating life and everything to really a sacred place. And don't let anyone or any other female just come in your life and take that time away from you, because your time is very valuable, especially in your 20s. You could spend so much time. I'll be honest with you guys, instead of going on all those dates that I did, instead of dating these girls, or instead of going to these parties that I went to, I wish I would have been doing this. I wish I would have been sharing my story as I progressed through my public accounting career. I wish I would have been sharing my portfolio when I had nothing. I wish I would have been documenting my life as I'm doing now and being able to share just my stories and what I've been through to be able to help and inspire others like I'm doing now. And it sucks that, it took me to 30 to realize that this is what really makes me happy, not, chasing instant gratification. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for the video today. Like I said, I'm going to end up consolidating this channel just into this channel that you're on right now. I just feel like it's kind of easier for me to be able to pump out more content, and this feels a little more natural to me instead of being, cut and edited and has music and all these things. And obviously, I love teaching accounting. I love teaching audit. I want to go over financial statements. There's so many things I want to do on this channel, and I hope you follow me on this journey. If maybe this isn't for you, feel free to hit that unsubscribe button. But I really want to build a community of people where, we talk about personal finance and audit and accounting and everything, just to make yourself an overall better professional. So till next time, you guys know what it is. Work hard, dress well. Peace.